Good morning, guys, and welcome back to Dusting Off Warlord, Saga of the Storm. Featuring Ironbone. Ironbone. I love this dude. I think he's such a freaking baller. Actually, I think this was actually the first Dwarf Warlord that I got. It was either him or Noro. Yeah, I think it was him. Um, and I like him a lot. I think he's so flavorful. I think he's so cool. But I actually haven't played him in forever because he was one of the warlords that, in my opinion, he really got hurt by exhaustion. I'm not going to turn this into an exhaustion hate episode, but I just remember too many games where I'm playing Ironbone and I use his order and someone goes exhaustion and I'm like, well, and it invariably it turned into, why are you playing Ironbone? And I hated that. But even though we filtered exhaustion out of our own little play group, I just never picked him back up again. It's probably been 10 years since I've played. It's been a long time since I've played him. But for this episode, so two things happened to make me want to cover this guy. One, somebody asked me, oh, I can't remember your name. I'm sorry. Somebody posted a comment in one of my videos asking, I think he's a new player or he's looking at getting into the game, and he asked me to do a Dwarf Warlord next. And I do have some other Dwarf Warlords already covered on the channel, but why not? You know, it's fine. And I like Ironbone. But the other thing that happened, and this still this still blows my mind. Kingswood Games actually reached out to me and sent me a little packet of spoiler cards from Into the Accordlands, and which I am flattered beyond words. One of these cards. Now, I want to say, and I don't want to misquote anyone, I think Woodrow said he did watch a couple of my episodes, and you know, he had some very nice things to say, which is great. But this this card they sent me is either the freakish, how do I phrase this? It is freakishly lucky that they sent me this one, or they have seen enough of my episodes to know, yeah. So we will get to that in a minute. This is also going to be a little bit different in, I think the only other episode where I've done a deck that I haven't actually played is like I think it's episode 2 or 3. It's when I was covering Zoltan Bloodletter, because I'd never actually played him, and that video was me trying to kind of show my thought process. Again, I'm just some scrub living in California. I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know, the little Zach design process for when I'm making a deck to play in our little play group. So that is going to be the same here, because one, this card, the Into the Accordlands isn't out yet, and two, again, I haven't actually played with my buddies in a while. Maybe I need to remedy that at some point. But okay, so without further ado, I am waffling here. So Ironbone, the freaking manliest dwarf ever. Okay, like, look at this, look at the art, look at the artwork on that guy. I don't know how well you can see that. You'll be able to see on screen. Like, look at that dude. That dude is freaking, this hairy, looks somewhat intoxicated. He looks like he's ready to freaking, like, break your junk off, okay? Like, this guy, oh, this guy is awesome. That's some great William O'Connor artwork right there. But he's got +9 and +6 for his attacks, which is, I think that's a slightly high, maybe average for a fighter of that time. 15 armor class, +7 skill, he is one of he may have been, Again, I don't really research these before. I should probably do that. He does have 4 hit points, which is important. It really would have been nice if he had 5, but you know what? Whatever. He is a Dwarf Warlord. He's the Lord of Rockholm, which I believe is one of the dwarf cities underground. All he has is this order until end of the turn. Rack gains +4 attack, and his melee strikes inflict an additional wound. Rack suffers 1 wound. This ability can be used once per turn. So several things here, and where do I even begin on this guy? I love this guy. Really, really wish. Oh, it would have been so awesome if he had been a barbarian. You tell me that is not a barbarian right there, okay? Because maybe it's because he's the lord of something and they didn't want a barbarian lead. I don't know. Oh, it would have been so great. Even the card Primal Rage feels very much like it was inspired by Ironbone himself, and that card is really, really great for barbarians. So when he uses this order, it puts his attacks at +13, +10, which is it's pretty solid. Additional wound, very, very awesome too. Like, that's amazing. It is really, really important to note that him suffering a wound from this is not a cost of the action. It is an effect of the action. So you can actually play healing effects to stop him from taking that 1 wound, which is kind of interesting. That ability is why, again, exhaustion just really kicks him in the dick. It's like, he's nothing amazing. Like well, to be fair, he's not amazing even when his ability is going off. But if he's not using his ability, it's like he doesn't really do anything that any other fighter. Actually, he's probably doing less than any other fighter because he won't have any other text at that point. But so yeah, him having that 4th hit point, it mitigates the first time he uses that. Again, 5 hit points would have been great, but whatever. So I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. Normally I go through, my starting formation and stuff like that. Instead, we are going to skip straight ahead to one of the cards that was sent to me. And I freaking love this card, okay? Strong Arm Stout. So this is a beer card, okay? It is a 4th level item. It has the potion trait. Destroy order. Each player draws a card. This turn, this character gets +2 attack and +1 hit point for each card drawn in this way. Lot of very, in my opinion, very interesting things about this item. And I when I first read it, I thought, okay, that's pretty funny and it's cool. And then I started thinking, I'm like, this actually seems pretty good. So right off the bat, so in a normal 2 versus 2 or a 1 versus 1 game, just a 1-on-1 normal game, this is going to draw your opponent a card, it's going to draw you a card, and it's going to give him +4 attack and +2 hit points. So it's almost like an invulnerability potion that's it's doing different things, it's buffing different things, it's still giving you hit points, it's not giving you armor class. This can get very, very interesting, I think, in a group game setting, like in alliances. If there's 4 people sitting around the table, +8 attack and +4 hit points, and everybody gets to draw a card. Kind of a very meat at the end effect on that, too. But the thing is, and again, I don't know, I probably should have checked this. This is a low-level item that destroys itself and draws you a card. It draws your opponent a card as well. But this card, 1, replaces itself, and 2, you can equip this in rank 1. And so immediately where my brain went with this was, how can I keep recycling this? Can I keep using this? Because I don't know how many other things are just, it's a classless item that's drawing you a card, and it destroys itself, meaning if you play it, you don't have to worry about it being stuck on the character. So, of course, who recycles items but dwarves? And so, also, I mean, again, this is a beer card, and look at Rack Ironbone. He looks like he's a bit, I think I've looked like that a couple times, okay? Like, my nose is all red and everything. Had one too many. The flavor text, it takes both a strong arm and a strong stomach to down a pint of rock home brew. So, I'm pretty sure this is his his city's, the signature drink in his city. So I think it pairs very, very well with him. I mean, I weight train 3 days a week, and I live in California, so of course I need alcohol. So, yep, sign me up for this. Sign me up for a strong arm stout. So, love that card. So what we're going to do is we're going to be starting, I don't think this start is especially amazing. And again, I don't know how well this is going to work because I haven't actually played this yet. I just like the idea of this. So in rank 2, we're starting 2 Preens, and in rank 1, we're starting 3 Linnea Warsong. So Preen is a way where, I mean, the war songs are probably going to die. They have AC of 9, so a lot of stuff hits them. Preen can help you do some damage and potentially wipe out, I don't know, say it's a Spencer attacking you, and I mean, that could be kind of nice. Or, anything that's swinging on your war songs. Now, the war songs have this react before they're killed. The next wound suffered by a dwarf you control are reduced by 1. This is kind of interesting with Rack, because again, Rack's, the wound he's taking is an effect of his ability, not a cost of his ability. So if someone freaking punches one of your war songs and she dies, Rack can just pop his ability and he gets kind of a free hit point out of that, which is pretty cool. So yeah, we are going to go with those as the start. Again, probably some more ideal things, but that's what I'm going to try whenever I get around to playing this. So because this deck is going to very heavily focus on trying to get that strong arm stout, I should probably have more draw in this deck. But I don't. I probably should. But we've got a copy of Torn Yasar because, yeah, we want that strong arm stout. And then dealing with items. There's some... what order do I want to do this? So, again, the strong arm stout destroys itself to draw you a card. It draws your opponent a card too, so, I mean, that kind of sucks. But you can supply it back on, and then you can also play Borrow. When Borrow enters play, you remove an item in your discard pile from the game. Search your discard pile for an item. Borrow can equip and equip it. Now, again, the fact that the strong arm stout is classless, meaning it means he can grab it with this. So, and again, supply, just spend order, equip an item from your discard pile to one of your dwarves. Yeah, easy way to keep recycling that strong arm stout on Rack Ironbone, potentially drawing you lots of cards, giving him lots of attack, and most importantly, lots of hit points. So there are a lot of items in this deck besides the Strong Arm Stout. So we are also going to be running 2 copies of Mentor and 2 copies of Denali Sagebound. Mentor just turns any item you equip into like a ready as an additional effect to it, which is pretty awesome. I'm hoping what I'm going to be able to do is get in some situations where, you know, I pop the Stout to get some hit points and, you know, get some attack out of it. I can attack with Rack, or I can do whatever I want with Rack, and then I can supply the potion back and Mentor to ready Rack. And I think that might be kind of cool. And then Sagebound is just for all the redundant items that are in here. I mean, this is going to give him an extra level. It can give him an extra hit point, which is really the important part to it. Yeah. And yeah, because again, there's a lot of items in this deck. We also have some additional stuff just to try to help Rack do better. We've got a copy of Kiaran Dying and a copy of Nolan, King's Guardian. Kiaran Dying is just, he's really only in here to ready everybody, but that can be really nice. Again, if you ready like a supply or something, actually supply might be once per turn. No, I don't think supply is once per turn. So that might be better than readying Rack. Or it might ready both of them if they're both in the same rank. I don't know how often that's going to happen, but that might be kind of cool. Nolan's King's Guardian, you can start this guy. I'm not going to do that because I don't think that really works in here. But he can kind of mess up your formations a little bit, but it's not really a big deal. He just has this react once per turn before an adjacent dwarf suffers wounds. Nolan suffers 1 wound, reduce the target's wound by 1. And again, you can use that just on normal wounds that Rack's suffering because he's going to go to the front. Or 2, you can use that to negate the wound he's taking from his build. It's just an extra hit point, and Nolan's got 3 hit points, so that's kind of cool. Door to the World also is just more, it's more wound removal, or wound reduction, I guess. Not really removal, but it's more healing. And then we've got 3 copies of Sorrow, who, again, he has an ability to, after a character adjacent to Sorrow suffers 1 or more wounds, Sorrow suffers the wounds instead. One of the things that's interesting about this is, one, again, you can just use this to soak up a wound that Rack was going to take, but the Denali Sagebound can only affect a character once, and so once you've used her, she can't really do anything for Rack. Using her on a Sorrow could potentially let the Sorrow use his ability twice. I think that's kind of an interesting little thing. How good is it? I don't know. And then finally, we've got 3 copies of Amends because, you know, we want Rack punching more, and these are giving you full attacks, which is pretty awesome. I really should have more ways in here to increase the number of strikes he has, but again, maybe I'll fit that in at some point, but I haven't done it yet. So in addition to these Strong Arm Stout as a classless item, we've also got a copy of Nodawick to again hopefully recycle that Strong Arm Stout a bunch of times. I'm gonna skip ahead again a little bit to why I want all these hit points, just because it may not make sense. And so some of you may have seen this coming. We're gonna be playing 3 copies of Reckless Abandon. This is a 4th level fighter action. It's a spend order, so the person doing this has to spend. You can spend any other fighters in your army, and for each fighter you spend, this fighter gets plus 1 hit point. There's not too many other fighters in here. You're probably better off spending the Nolan to do this and the Kiara to do this than to have them actually punch things to give Rack some extra hit points. But you get the order: suffer a wound, perform a melee strike. Until end of turn, this character's wounds may not be removed or reduced by action cards. If you've ever played Lord Winter, you've probably seen this. This is, I think, in a lot of Lord Winter decks. One of the things that's, again, kind of cool about this is this says, until end of the turn, this character's wounds may not be reduced or removed by action cards, but you can reduce it with a bunch of the other stuff I have in here. Again, the Sorrows can reduce this. What's his name? The Nolan can do this because, again, they're not action cards. They're characters that are doing that. So that's pretty cool. So that's kind of the idea. That's what I first thought when I saw Strong Arm Stat with this is, how can I get him a bunch of hit points and then Reckless Abandon and then maybe ready him with things like Mentor, with Kiaran Dying, stuff like that. Make extra attacks with the Men's. The interesting thing about this that I think is kind of cool is, again, the Strong Arm Stout, it's drawing you cards, which means it's going to be easier to find a combo piece like this. And again, I should be playing more draw in here. At least I think I should. But that's the end goal. Again, I'm skipping ahead to that because, yeah, that's why me wanting all those hit points is. That's why I'm doing it. So we also have some other toys for him. We have a couple copies of Death's Bargain. This is hopefully going to keep him alive. I don't know if it's going to. I'm hoping that it will. If he can get, 5 or 6 charges on this, his AC is pretty decent. And again, you've got some ways to redirect wounds around and all that. And potentially you might have a bunch of, not even from the Reckless Abandon, you might just have a bunch of hit points from Denali Sagebound, which can help. and the strong arm stout. We also have a copy of Ancient Scimitar and a copy of Medical Kit. Now, Ancient Scimitar gives you a little bit of attack, which I don't know how much you're going to need that, but it's better that it has it than it doesn't have it. It just has a react once per turn. After you kill an opposing character, you succeed with the skill check. It's fairly high DC. It gets easier the higher level they are. I guess their souls are more powerful or something. If you succeed, you remove a wound from this fighter, and whether you succeed or fail, you remove the target from the game. The recursion removal is nice. I don't think this is enough to really stop a dedicated, like, Necromancer recursion deck, but whatever. And then a copy of Medical Kit for some medicine, because again, you can't. Reckless Abandon stops you from using action cards to remove your wounds, but Medical Kit is not an action card. So now, because his skill is only +7, he needs some fairly big numbers to make this work. So we're going to include a copy of Symbol of Cerberus. This can be a Helm of Vision instead. Actually, maybe this should be a Helm of Vision instead. The extra point of armor class is probably better than the extra point of attack, or maybe I could play both of them. I don't know. Whatever. And then, okay, so then we have a whole freaking slew of steeds, because there is not much in the way of movement in Dwarves. I wish there was, but there's really not. And so I want to get racked to the front, hopefully turn 1. And so we've got a bunch of steeds. We've got a Griffin, a Mystere, we've got a Chariot, we've got a Dark Horse, a Noble Steed, a War Horse, a Camel, and then also out of Into the Accordlands, 2 other steeds that haven't come out yet that I'm gonna try running in these. And it's mostly because these are lower level. And so again, with Mentor, even steeds that you don't need become a way to ready you because they're items you're equipping. So we've got a copy of Griffin of Andover and a copy of Meredith Mare. These both give you a little bit of stats. The Meredith Mare is giving you +3 attack, which is a lot. It also has its ability to spend it for a +3 melee strike versus a lower level character. With Rack, this is going to be a +7 because his +4 applies to all the strikes he's making. So that's kind of cool, and it also do an additional wound. Griffin of Andover, it can... Basically, you can move backwards with this. It's one of the, I think, few fighter steeds that moves you backwards if you want to. Opposing characters can't react to it. Again, we don't play Exhaustion in our meta, and I don't know, maybe someone might Rough Road that? I don't know. But they can't, so whatever. I don't think anyone here really plays Rough Road too much, but... so yeah, just a bunch of steeds to help hopefully get him up front, and then again, the items are doubling as ready with Mentor. They're toss-away cards to Denali Sagebound. There is a bunch of stuff there. And then just rounding it out, just a couple more things to generate strikes, 3 copies of Bare Soul, and 3 copies of No Prisoners. I think there is potentially some kind of cool interactions with how many times you could potentially recycle the Strong Arm Stout and draw cards. You might be able to Bare Soul and then shuffle it into your deck and then drink a potion, take a, have a I don't know, down your pint of it or whatever, and then draw into another Bare Soul and play it again, or the same Bare Soul. So that might be kind of cool. Again, I don't know. I have no idea if this deck is going to work or not. It probably sucks. I don't care. I like Rack Ironbone, and it's been way too long since I've played him. Again, he got dropped again. I think it was around 2015 because I got fed up with it. I'm like, I don't want to have to play. What is it? Is it Find a Way? I think it's Find a Way. Like, I don't want to have to play stuff like that. And so I stopped playing him, and it's unfortunate because I think he's so full of character. Again, I really wish he was a barbarian, but I don't care. Oh, I like Rack Ironbone. He's cool. Now, some other stuff that I did consider, and these may make themselves into the deck eventually. Again, I haven't actually played this yet because the card's not out, and again, haven't touched Rack in forever, is to really, really go chips in on the whole potion thing. You can run Brindle, you can run Giant Strength Potion, Invulnerability Potion. Really, really similar in that case to, including these. This would really make it feel like almost like a crappier version of Lord Winter, because I run those in my current Lord Winter deck, and yeah, one of the other things too, and I've said this multiple times, we're just playing for fun, we're casual players, and one of the interesting things about that kind of environment is Strong Arm Stout, you can't find Strong Arm Stout with Brindle by the rules, because Strong Arm Stout has the potion trait. It doesn't have the word potion in the name or in the title, and Brindle spends to look at the top 10 cards of your deck and put one card that has the word potion in the title, show it to their players, put it in your hand. Yeah, in our little play group, you can grab Strong Arm Stout with Brindle, okay, because the potion trait did not exist. I think I think there's like one potion. It's like Potion of Vigor, I think. In 4th edition, I think is the only item with the potion trait. I could be wrong about that, but that being a trait did not it didn't exist when Brindle was printed. So yeah, I did consider these. I mean, it's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with a giant strength potion with Rack Ironbone, plus 14 for 3 wounds. I mean, again, a lot of stuff dies to that, and you know, you can ready off of Mentor. Just not doing it because again, too much like the Lord Winter deck. It's already somewhat similar to Lord Winter, but it's got enough dwarvish feel to it that you know what, I'm okay with that. To kind of help you get the strong arm stout too. Again, I really should be running Meat at the Inn. Another card you can run in Dwarfs too is Darkness. Darkness is a level 1 Dwarf with a pretty good attack stat at +3. Crappy armor class. Just after Darkness kills a higher level character with a melee strike, draw a card. So this is a potentially offense and card draw in one, which is kind of interesting. I don't think any of the items in the deck she can equip. She's not high enough level to equip Strong Arm Stout, but is also another interesting candidate for Denali Sagebound because, I mean, a 2 hit point Darkness, you know, that seems kind of interesting. It's also maybe in this deck not important at all. Her ability is not once per turn, so if you're able to either ready her or get her to make multiple strikes, you could potentially get multiple cards off of that. So that's pretty awesome. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, so I did mention that the symbol of Kerberos could be a Helm of Vision instead. I think originally what I was going to do was I was going to run Iridescent Armor, which is also a helm. So that would preclude the use of the Helm of Vision. This is just giving you an extra hit point. It's giving you magic resistance, which can be nice. Yeah, but I mean, I think ultimately Death's Bargain's probably better. I don't think the magic resistance and +1 hit point from this is probably going to be as useful as potentially getting a bunch of armor class from the Death's Bargain. So, however, I was also considering a Benedictus armor, which is a pretty fascinating armor that came out fairly late, I think, in Epic Edition. When did this come out? Temple of Lore. So Benedictus armor, it's an armor that's giving you +3 attack, which is a pretty nice little boost, +3 armor class. You must spend a level 3 or greater cleric you control to equip Benedictus armor. This is not difficult in dwarves, because dwarves have lots of really great high level clerics, and it's not even high level, it's level 3. However, it also has the order, once per turn, spend a level 5 or greater cleric in your army, ready this character. So if you do play some of those higher level dwarves, and they don't even need to necessarily be super high level, if you have a level 4 and you use Denali Sagebound to make it level 5, that could be used with the Benedictus armor, and just order once per turn, spending that guy to ready. I mean, you might get a lot of mileage out of that. If I did that, I would, again, I probably already should be running some extra strike generation items on him, like Havadion Stance, but yeah, so that might make it in later, I'm not sure. The other main, when I used to play Rack, again, it was a long time ago, I didn't run nearly this many items with him. I think I want to say I had like a couple weapons for him. I'm pretty sure I was playing Bruntor's Helm. Oh, what else did I have? I can't remember, it's been so long. But one of the things that deck did was it was really, really heavy on actions instead of items. So, pretty much what I was doing was I was running, instead of steeds, I had closed ranks, I had stubborn, I had, the redirection one. Do I have a copy? Sudden reversal. Yeah, I used to play stuff like this. And these were how I got Rack to the front. These were happening at react speed, meaning he could potentially get up there really, really quickly, maybe on the second or third action without having to equip a steed, spend the steed, equip a new steed, spend that steed. Yeah, but I think altogether the items in this I think are going to work better. Again, I'm not positive, but in addition to that, because I was not doing Reckless Abandon because Strong Arm Stout hadn't been spoiled, I was running Outmatch, Bloodthirsty, Spite, Massacre, Backswing. I was just running a whole crap ton of strike generation with him and just watching him just keep swinging and swinging and swinging. That might be better, but I like the idea of him getting drunk and getting angrier and just more resistant to pain as he keeps downing pints of that stuff. So, one of the things that I did run in those earlier decks I had that I think are kind of interesting, good, I don't know, I don't care if it's good or not, was some defensive fighter actions. So, in the form of Tails at the Inn and Vicious Block. So, Tails at the end, to react, you play it after a fighter with less than half this fighter's attack hits him with a melee strike. Negative attack is considered 0. The strike automatically fails. I believe what this is trying to communicate, because this is worded kind of odd, I believe this is after a character with an attack less than half of this fighter's attack hits, is what I think it's telling you to do. The strike automatically fails, and again, Rack's attack doesn't get insanely high, but it does get pretty high, and so he's not super durable, so a lot of times even fairly small value attacks like, you know, +3s, +4s, their odds of hitting him are not terrible, so if that's the case, this does stop you from taking damage from it. And it's interesting on this that this happens after they roll, because it's after a character hits him, and so they have to roll, and this is almost like a fighter version of Too Fast to See. It's slightly lower level, doesn't really matter here, but you can't really waste this because it's after they're rolling, so it's not like some other cards like Dodge, and I think Dodge is pretty bad. So I played that. This would also very, very thematically fit in with this too. Tails at the end. If you played this with with like bar fight and tavern brawl, it's almost like Rack's not even on the battlefield. He's just starting a bar fight. That's awesome. And the other one was a vicious block. This is very, very similar, and this usually does the same thing. So reacts, 4th level fighter. After a melee strike roll targeting this fighter, add the fighter's highest attack bonus to his armor class for the duration of the strike. Again, you can't really waste this because it's happening after the die roll, and I mean, even getting just +9 off of this, assuming his ability's not going off and he hasn't had anything to drink, you know, adding 9 to your armor class, a lot of times I think that is going to be, unless it's some freakishly quality attack coming at you, this will stop a lot of stuff, and again, it's after the dice roll, so I think those might be kind of interesting cards to play. And again, I don't know. I might even change this before the first time I play it. I'm honestly not sure, but I like the feel of this now. Again, the only thing I'm thinking is maybe dropping, I don't know, the Borrows, because the Borrows are more cute. This is a reason to play him. I haven't played him in too many decks. These should probably be meet at the ends. I don't know. I'm gonna have fun playing this anyway. So yeah, that is Rack Ironbone, the Lord of Rock Home. The plan is to just get him drunken up and freaking reckless abandoning, and yeah, there's probably some other stuff I could put in here too that I haven't really thought of yet. But the Strong Arm Stout itself, I really think this could have some very interesting applications in something like Lord Winter, which, I mean, reality check, this deck, this concept that I'm doing here is almost certainly better out of Lord Winter instead of Rack Ironbone. And the fact that that is another card, because L's already have tons of card draw anyway, that is a recyclable item that's drawing you, it's doing multiple things. Again, it's drawing you a card, it's giving Winter hit points, and it's giving him attack, and that is the one thing that sometimes my Lord Winter decks do sometimes struggle with, is if I don't draw the Vetislarion, or I think in some of my decks I even play Ellen and Takis because I was having such a problem with his attack. Because with Excessus on, he's only swinging with +6s. So, I mean, that's not very good. Like, you miss a lot of stuff at +6. So, the fact that the potion is giving him cards, giving him hit points, and giving him attack, I need to revisit that deck with that card sometime. So, yeah. Thanks for checking this out, guys. I do have 2 other cards I'm going to be spoiling. One of them I already know what I'm going to do with it, and I'm a very immature person with it, and that's fine. The other one, I don't know if I'm even going to do a deck video on, because I have no idea what I would do with them. I probably need to sit down and think about it, so break out my own Strong Arm Stout and do some brainstorming. So, again, thanks for checking this out, guys. God bless you, and I will catch you in the next video.